This is Alisa and Jacob. They're about to move in and start their life together, but they carry expensive debt baggage. $8,000 worth of consolidated credit cards. It hurts. Leaving them paying a fortune in interest. In this video, we'll dive into strategizing their finances as a couple and investigate whether or not they can make it out. Welcome to Finance Action, the show where we take action. My name is Romain. Alisa and Jacob, how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing
How are
awesome.
you?
Awesome, yes. Let's look, guys, at your profile. Let's start first with Alisa. You're originally from Portland. You live in Los Angeles and you work as a performer. But at the end of the day, you also have to bring money on the table as a nanny. Looking at you, Jacob, you also live in Los Angeles and you work as a cinematographer and in the film industry. So I'm glad to see here both artists in a way, I would say. This video is about a young couple moving together. How should they think about bringing their past into this relationship? How should they think about managing their finances while still maintaining their independence? Because you guys have been together for what now?
A year.
So if you're interested, follow along. I think you're going to grab plenty of little bites as well from their upbringing that has put them in those situations. So Alisa, I will start with you first. Looking at the way, Alisa, you've rated your personal finances from chilling to payday, you rated yourself as, I'm okay. This is nice to see. Mr. Jacob here, looking at the way you've rated your personal finances from chilling to payday, you rate yourself as...
I think I'm okay.
I'm okay. All right, guys, we'll see if that pans out. Alisa, let's start first with your case. You come here with something that's very interesting is you have been in a family of a father that was a financial advisor. You guys are 5 siblings. Most of them are all of them are following their profession. They are making it happen. And so I want to kind of understand a little bit about your relationship to money and how was it to grow up with a father that knew exactly the right steps on paper, but how did he transition that to their children?
Growing up, my family, we were always pushing towards our goals. We would always talk about, what we were moving forward to do, what we wanted. And when I was about 10 years old, my dad decided that he was going to move forward with his dream and become a financial advisor. So with that, he was learning and growing, and he taught us the ways to manage our money. I would remember seeing my mom she'd do the budget and she'd have the envelopes with all the money, with, food for the month, for gas for the month, all the things. So I got to see from a little bit of an outsider perspective on how they did things. The stress of the money, they never put that on us.
So pretty much from a very young age, you've been exposed to those concepts. Mm-hmm. How did those convert in actions? Like, what were they doing at the time specifically to raising you as a child that was pretty much very aware of the component around money?
Yeah, so when me and my siblings were young and before we were able to earn our own money, they would give us a little stipend of money a month that we could use to whatever we wanted to do. How
was it estimated?
It was based off of our age. So I think when I was 8, we'd get half of our age. So I'd get $4. And I remember I was so upset because all my siblings are older than me. So they'd get just like 50 cents more a month or $1 more a month. Nothing too big, but enough that we could save and learn how we wanted to spend our money and how best to go about doing that.
That's very nice. Yeah, I actually very much encourage, if you're a parent here or you have young children, or if you're thinking at some point about having children's, feel free to engage your children and kind of give them those responsibilities through little budgets like this. I'm sure there are many other forms of actions that they would take specific to raising your awareness with money.
When we were around 12, we were able to get our own bank account and put our own money in there. And the bank account was for savings. We were not willy-nilly going through our bank account. It was put the money in the bank account and it stays there. And then I didn't get a debit card until I had a job. So I was 16, because that was when we were able to make, consistent money. And at that time we were able to drive, we were able to, hang out with friends. So they wanted us to be able to have the freedom to spend our money doing things that we enjoyed. Then when I got older, I got a credit card when I was 19, because I felt responsible enough for that. And my mom would constantly reassure me that just because it's a credit card and I have a limit doesn't mean that all that money is mine to spend. I should be using my credit card for specific things so I know where that money's going. They didn't want us to be, swiping the card every day just because we want something. We have to make sure we have that money first. And then if we want to use it on our credit card to build credit, to be able to buy and afford things like a house, we have to slowly build that credit. So my mom always told me to use it just for gas. So that way every month I'd know, okay, all this money I spent on gas. One, that helps me budget my gas money. And two, I'm only spending a certain amount of my credit card every month.
Yeah, I'm very much a fan. And myself, I was raised in a family that we were pretty much very aware of what was going on. Similar to you, not to the specific amount, because you don't really need to know the specific amount of money, but you need to understand the basics of the concept. And for example, I had a check system where we would pretty much ask a check for my parents for specific things that we would want. Okay, so there was this concept around understanding the demand, the purpose, and also very much understanding the labor that it was required. So early on, we were provided with this notion of hard work because my father would pretty much kind of put us to work, you could say, in a way, and give us a specific payment. And this was how money was not just something that was coming off trees. There was an effort linked to this, linked to the request of a check, linked to a purpose. And so often they were acting kind of as a mini bank with us with, oh, no, sorry, you can't cash out your check because either you haven't done enough work or, maybe would you reconsider your purchase for other things that you may be interested in. And this allowed us to, at a very young age myself, not see my parents just as a bank, but how do I interact in those transactions? And this sense of responsibility and ownership led me very fast, as soon as I came to the United States, at wanting to master the game around credit. Now, we'll see how you've mastered yours because it's not the best that we would see. If you don't have the money to support something like this, it doesn't just need to be money. It can be stars. It can be any form of currency that has a value associated with it, a value to the eye of the children, can be then replaced in the future by some form of money. So those are kind of little tricks that actually worked pretty well for us, seem to work really well for you and your siblings. But now I'm directing myself towards you, Jacob. So you had a pretty good upbringing as well?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. They were very on top of making me aware of the importance of money and how to be responsible with it.
Okay, that's great. Any specific tricks that your parents would do to bring you into those concepts?
Maybe one of the big tricks was just like putting it on us to save up our money if we want to get something. Like one of the big things was renting out videos and video games, and it was on us if we wanted it. We had to save up to get it. And if you wanted big purchases, it was on us.
Okay. So now that we know a little bit about kind of the upbringing aspect, you guys have been together for a year, and the finances around all of this has not been the most clean, I would say, okay? But that's okay. It's young age. I want you to, in this video, to physically realize the outcome of some of the decisions that you've taken. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think this is going to come a little bit as an intervention to you guys, okay?
Good.
So I want to start first with income. You work as a nanny primarily, also as a performer. How much does that bring you per year?
Per year, about $48,000.
Okay, at 23 years old, that's about net $2,800. When we look at the median in the United States, between 20 and 24, it is at 36,500. So 50% make more, 50% make less. Okay, so you're just a pinch more, but you live in Los Angeles. That's a little bit tricky. Jacob, let's turn to you, my friend. How much do you make per year?
Made about $72,000 last year.
That's pretty good out of a profession as mostly a self-employed, you could say.
Yeah.
So that brings your monthly net at 4,200. Is that fair?
Yeah, sounds fair.
Okay, so you're far above the median, almost twice. But that case comes with quite a bit of debt. If we look at this young, promising couple in front of us, together you guys are making $120,000 or so per year. That brings your net as a couple at around $7,000. Let's move to some of your assets. Alisa, looking at yourself, thank you for providing us with your statement. On your checking account, I see a balance of $500. I see a saving account of $1,000. Do you have anything else?
I have a car.
Oh, okay. What do you drive?
I drive a 2014 Nissan Rogue.
Okay. How many miles?
150,000 miles.
Do you own any money on it?
Nope.
Okay. How did you buy it?
I paid in cash.
For it after you saved?
Yeah.
Wow. Well done. Okay. The car value right now, if I was to resell it on Kelly Blue Book, is $7,000. Do you have anything else?
I have a dog.
Okay. Well, that has no monetary value.
No, I don't have.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings your total assets, the total amount of money if you were to sell everything at 23 at 8,571. Sir, on the right side, tell me a little bit more. What do you have on your checking account?
And my checking, I have a business and personal checking account. Between the two, about 3,500, 4,000.
4,000. Okay. Any savings?
No savings account right now. Just went through the strike for basically a whole year, so no savings left.
Okay, yes, that's right. The strike in Los Angeles pretty much hit you pretty hard. Any investment accounts?
I do have a Robinhood account.
Okay.
With
So
about
brokerage. How much do you have on it?
probably 200 in there.
What are you working with?
Crypto
or something?
No, I'm on the stocks. I did a crypto run, but
Yeah.
I'm not in it.
Yeah, that's rough, Ed. Okay. Do you own anything else? What about a car?
I do. I'm paying off a car.
Oh, what are you driving?
I'm driving a 2015 BMW 328i.
BMW at 23 years old.
That isn't what I wanted. To be honest, I wanted a truck.
Okay.
But because of where my credit score is at, I couldn't get a truck. I couldn't get myself in one. And because I'm a bit vain, I'm like, if I'm not getting a truck, I don't want to drive around in a beat up car. Especially in my industry, it matters it matters a little bit. And so I got that. wasn't the most I wasn't thinking financially. I was thinking personally.
How many miles?
120,000.
Gosh. Okay. 328, 3 Series.
Yeah.
How much do you own on it?
I say I own 5,000.
$5,000. Okay, looking at the Kelly Blue Book value for this car right now, if you were to sell it private party, is 7,600. Okay, so you are up on your car about 2,600. Okay, we'll be looking at the interest on this car loan. Hopefully it's not too bad.
Hopefully not too bad.
Okay. Anything else that you have?
I do have some good assets. I own some camera equipment. I probably have like a $14,000 camera rig and a couple other things. Maybe we can call it $20,000 in lighting and camera and lenses, all that.
Okay, that's pretty nice. Anything else?
I would say that's about it right there.
None of you have started any retirement funds, right?
Nope.
Okay, maybe it's the time to just consider a little bit because this is kind of the golden age. I know it's not what you want to hear, but I just want to start engaging on the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right. Now that we understand a little bit about their income and assets, let's move together into your expenses and your debt. So, as a young couple that is about to move in together, in how long?
About a month or two.
A month, and it's going to be your first time guys moving in together.
Yes.
Okay, how much is going to be the price of this new apartment?
$2,300 a month.
Okay, does that include utilities?
Including utilities, probably $2,500.
$2,500 for the couple. Okay, how are you guys thinking about managing your finances in the move?
Oh, managing our finances.
Well, I think we'll for sure split the rent. I think we're gonna pay rent, utilities in half, and that'll be the big portion of it.
Okay. What about any other discretionary expenses? What are your thoughts?
I think most of the stuff I would like to be able to split and go back and forth and be able to, you buy dinner, I buy lunch, split groceries, things like that. What do you think?
I think that sounds about right. Like as a whole, like the extra stuff is more me. Like if we're gonna go get like a bottle of alcohol or something, it's gonna be me, so I'll pay for it. Like,
what about your first couple of dates? Who's paid for what?
Our first couple dates,
we were back and forth.
We were back and forth when we first started. I think it was you got dinner and I would get a dinner, pay for bowling, things like that. Yeah. At first we were going good back and forth.
Okay, this is a little bit of a sideline. French etiquette, I would always recommend, as long as it's the person that is inviting, okay, that is making the effort to invite on a first date, to pay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's. I'm not gonna bring a first date on an helicopter ride, and then when the ride ends, they say, "Hey, thank you. Please give me a portion of this." Okay. Now, you guys have been together for a year.
Yes.
Okay, and this is personally my approach. And it might be controversial to how a couple should, especially a young couple at your age, think about managing their money together. I'm all about fairness, okay? And I think that there should be a frank discussion early on in a relationship, in that case, as you guys are moving in together, where to me, it should be of a ratio. And what I mean by that is, let's say you, Alisa, make $100,000 and you make $50,000, okay? Vice versa, whatever, okay? Personally, for me, I would go either two routes. One is each of you put money into what I call with my partner a couple fund, okay? So you put to the ratio of, let's say, $100, and you put, so you earn, Alisa, $100,000, so you put to your ratio $100, and you, Jacob, you would put 50, okay? So the ratio is impacting the same way against your income, and it goes toward the expenses that the couple has to incur together. Why do I think this way? Well, I mean, it really depends. If there is a very big disparity of income, and you guys are 50-50, one may get hurt much more than the other. Number two, I think that is important, personally, in this world, to have both individual contributing. It shouldn't be all from one person. And this concept of couple fund, I think, removes some of the tension around, oh, you invite here, oh, hold on, he invited me like 2 times in a row, and now it's my turn, I have to do it twice, and so on. Whereas when it's the couple fund, it's a decision that is agreed beforehand, and the couple fund is used together kind of as a pre-marriage, you because generally when you get married, expense, like, money tends to flow as one. Yeah? And that kind of gives you a little bit of a sense as to, number one, testing the other person around their component around money, because the number one reason for divorce is finances across a couple. So get a little bit of a teaser around how do you guys manage this. In that case, then you're making 50,000, or in your case, you're making 70,000, you're making 40,000, maybe create that couple fund that get pulled from on regular expenses on something that you guys have agreed beforehand, so there is no tension, there's nothing, and the decisions around what gets expensed get spoken, because we want to open the streams of communications, okay?
I have a question. So are you saying that the couple fund is all of the expenses, including rent, or is it more for the side things like food, alcohol, side stuff? Is it for everything? Or?
I personally use it for everything, including rent. In all fairness, it should impact each with the same ratio. Now, let's say, you want to pull a $4,000 rent because you need a studio to record YouTube, okay? And you're like, oh, I'm okay with an apartment that's $700. Maybe here there's a discussion that takes place, like, yeah, okay, maybe we shouldn't be having this. So for outliers, You know, this couple fund cannot be used. You need to buy something for your production, and it costs $2,000. She might use it once. You wouldn't use the couple fund for something like this, of course. Let's be reasonable. But as long as both couple interact together in a way that feels like it's fair, that's I think is the most important thing. Is that it has to be fair, and it gives you a teaser as to how you should approach this.
I like that a lot.
What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I like that. I think I like what you said about impacting in the right ratio, because it's unfair to just like expect always half, because that's just not how our society works, and not everything can be, you know, if we made the same amount of money, great, but that's just ebbs and flows always. So I like it.
I like it a lot, because especially as you were saying it out loud, to say like, okay, this is how much you make, this is your expenses, this is how much you make, and then afterwards me saying, yeah, we're gonna split the rent in half. I was like, well, that doesn't necessarily make the most sense. I was like, after saying it out loud, after stacking it all up. So I like that. Yeah.
It's all about being fair.
Yeah.
And now, you guys have stacked up quite a bit of debt, each of you. And I don't think, personally, that early in a relationship, your debt, I'm not going to put it like this, should be your liability.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are carrying something in a baggage that shouldn't be the cross liability. And I believe in a way, marriage can be different. I would say, okay, maybe to a certain tolerance, you know. But in the case of a young couple, you shouldn't be liable for the rent of your partner.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, if they put themselves in a tough spot with crazy credit card debt like you guys, maybe it's not the best.
It's not the best.
It's not the best.
Okay. Just looking again back at your housing expense as a couple, did you guys make a good decision on this house? I would say maybe it's a little bit expensive for the couple. Why? Because your housing expense against your income as a couple is at 36%.
Okay.
We like it to be below 28.
Okay.
So you guys have to know that with your current income, you went a little bit low on your housing expense, okay?
Okay.
So that hopefully maybe encourage you to elevate your income a little bit.
Yeah.
Second thing that I want to speak about is transportation. So you own your car. You don't own your car.
Yeah.
You have car debt to the amount of $5,000. What is your interest rate?
My car debt interest rate is about 27%.
Oh, shit. How the heck do you get a car debt at 27%, dude?
Because of a bad low credit score. Probably low credit score. I had like 4 collections on my credit.
What?
Yeah, I had a lot. I had collections.
What is your credit score today?
My credit score today is 560. It was 530 not too long ago. We're on our way up. I consolidated my debt.
How did you get into collections?
Because of the strike. I had like I got a speeding ticket. Couldn't pay that off. I had just little fees like that.
You didn't work during the strike? I mean, the strike, I understand, but you could have pulled another side job to help compensate for that.
Boy, was he doing that.
I was working. There wasn't an hour I wasn't
grinding,
I was
trying
grinding.
to pull it?
Yes, it was a tough year.
Wow, okay.
Because then when you even do get a job, it's like you land a project, but it's not the highest paying project, and then it pays net 30. And so for that 30 days, it's like, well, what did I get 30 days ago? What am I working off of?
It's tight. Okay, and that's probably why then today, let's move quickly, guys, to some of the other type of debt. My friend, you have $8,000 worth of consolidated credit cards at an interest rate of 18%. Do you have any other form of debt?
I have about $30,000 in student loans, but I'm deferring right now.
Okay, you know the interest rate on it?
I would say about 5%.
Okay, deferred meaning you're not paying right now for it, but the interest is still accruing.
Yes.
What did you study?
I got a degree in film. I got an associate's in film and then a bachelor's degree in cinematography.
Did I help you out?
It did help me out, actually. The big benefit was moving from a small town, meeting all the people.
Okay. Any other form of debt on you, my friend?
That is it. No more debt.
That is it. I mean, that...
That's it. Just that.
23 years old, you have $43,000 of debt.
Tough spot right now.
Alisa, you also have... I'm glad that you don't have car debt. you didn't mention any student loans.
I do not have any, and do not have any student loans, no college debt.
Okay. What was the thought behind it?
I went to a smaller college to have less expenses. And
Okay, so quick here, guys. If you're young and you're thinking about college, especially in the United States, think of it as an investment. I know this is going to be tough, but with much respect, try to look at the outcome at which you're making decisions. So if you're going for interdisciplinary or whatever the name is, arts or study of, I don't know, of language, those are tough. Those are tough to exit, okay? So think of it as an investment. What is my earning potential going to be after I graduate? I'll give you a quick example. I was working in Las Vegas, making $70,000 per year, a couple years back. And I felt stuck. And I was like, okay, what can I do to increase my earning potential in a way that it is an investment? While I grind myself to get a really high score at what is called the GMAT, to invest into an MBA, which on paper is around $200,000. You fight for scholarships. I got into a good scholarship. In a span of 2 years, my income went from $70,000 to $145,000.
That's amazing.
So education, when played the right way, can act as nitrous to your career. So you have, Alisa, some form of debt as well. What do you have?
I do. I have about $2,500 in credit card debt.
What is the interest rate?
17%.
17%? Okay. How did you stack up on this shit?
Well, I had a little bit of a career switch. I realized I was in a job that I just was not happy in. The money was not worth the stress that it put on me. So I quit my job and I kind of took a break. I was able to go home for a little bit, just kind of reset. And then I took a couple months back living in LA.
Do you have any other form of debt?
Nope.
Okay, so at $2,500 or so, that brings your net worth today at positive $6,071. Okay. So together as a couple right now, if we were to look at your net worth,
I'm bringing us down. I'm bringing us down.
Okay, guys, look, it's not too bad, but you guys don't have much of a legway. If something was to arrive, you're working each of a very thin line with not much savings going on. Okay, so if I look at some of the rest of your expenses, for the most part, you guys are pretty frugal, except for one that I saw for you that I was like, what the heck, dude? $450 on your car insurance? Like, what's going on?
Oh, no.
Dude, this car is costing you a freaking fortune.
Yes, this car is costing me a fortune at the moment. Because I got in a car accident and totaled the whip, and they claimed it as my fault.
How long ago was that?
That was about 3 months now.
$450.
It hurts.
Dude, is there any way you can try and negotiate with them a little bit or something?
And that's what my parents said. I'm gonna give it like the 3 months, and then I'm gonna be back on the phone with them if I can renegotiate a new rate. And also, I'm gonna be on the phone like, can I do a driver's ed course? Can I do I'll do any course class you got. I'll get the camera in there, whatever, please.
Yeah, because right now that brings your current car expenses at 21% of your income. We like it to be below 15.
Yeah.
Alisa, you have car expenses of 11%. Cruising.
You're carrying the couple.
Yeah. Now, if we look at some of the rest of your expenses, I see a little bit of BS here, kind of participating in our shit counter, especially you, Jacob, for deliveries. The same kind of, always the same crap. $45 last month, for once, twice or so.
Guilty.
Yeah, I see some other expenses here. Fairly recently for you as well.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but guys, okay, let's just be thoughtful as to how we approach this, especially if you have credit card debt. Okay.
Very true.
It's a tough spot. You guys don't have much savings. You're about to move in together. Your positions are kind of freelancing, self-employed, I want you guys to please try and protect yourself a little bit as a young couple. Let's set you up in the right way.
Honestly.
Because what I'm about to show you right now is the physical representation of the actions that you've taken and how much it's costing you every year.
That hurts.
Are we ready for it?
I don't think so, but sure.
So let's look, guys, together at the money case. All right, in this money case, I have the amount of money that you guys are throwing to the garbage every year because of the expenses that you've put yourself into. So this one is going to be very exciting. Right now, I'm going to start with you, Alisa, because it's a better spot than Jacob. Alisa, today, per year, just of the credit card that you've taken, you're not spending $100 in the trash. Not 200, not 300, not 400, but $431. Okay? This is money, Alisa, and I want you to hold. This is what you're throwing to the garbage every year because of the decisions that you've taken with your credit cards. So when we think about credit cards, and your rate is not the worst actually at 17.1%. But, it is still not what we want to see. High credit card debt, throw it to the bin.
Goodbye.
All right. Now. All right. So this one is going to be interesting. I hope you're ready for it. Huh?
I'm ready.
My friend, every year right now, including the interest that you're stacking on your credit card, on your car, as well as on your student loans, how much do you think you're spending?
I'm in the thousands.
So you're spending, let's go right to the pace, more than $2,000.
Okay. A year.
Of interest, you're spending $2,815.
That's not even paying off the amounts. That's the interest on top of what I'm
That's
paying
just
off.
the interest.
My goodness.
So I want you to hold this.
Oh my goodness. It's so heavy.
Okay. So this brings you every month at around $240. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, if we look at the amount of hours that means for you, let's just make a fun calculation here. That is about, it's 10 hours a month that you're wasting to the garbage.
Wow, that's a good way to think about it.
10 hours per month that you're throwing to the bin.
So it's like, and I do about that in a shift. So it's like once a month, one day a month, I'm just working for nothing.
For nothing.
Nothing. All right. So now that you guys have been aware of your situation,
That's what I needed.
are we ready to take action?
Yes.
I think we are.
Yes, I am.
So this is kind of how I want to think about recommendations as a couple, okay?
Yeah.
You guys are hopefully going to create a couple fund, okay?
I would love to.
We're doing that.
What I recommend, and this is the amount that I think you guys should be putting on the couple fund, I've calculated it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the amount that you need to survive.
Okay.
That is not going to be inclusive of each of your individual debt payment back, okay? I'm including the rent, I'm including the car payments, the gas, communication, a little bit of food. You have a pet, I believe, from what I saw, with no pet insurance. Please,
Gotta get her
please,
some.
please,
We gotta get her some.
Please. There is no discussion. This needs to be 100%. You guys need to take it.
I'd never even really heard of it or
Well, I got a pet. My little dog ate a piece of plastic. $6,500 surgery. So if you don't have pet insurance, you are.
I'm in the water.
Yeah.
I'm dead in the water.
Yeah, that's
Because
it.
you ate a little piece of plastic. That's
There's
the
a little
everyday
piece of plastic.
occurrence.
Exactly. The insurance pays about 90%, and I pay the insurance $60 a month.
60 a month.
Yeah.
And then you have like a set deductible.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, decision taken. Okay, I'm scheduling about $70 for this. So together in your couple fund, you need to bring about $5,700
Okay.
per month.
That's doable. I feel comfortable with that.
Okay? That, guys, is 78% of your income.
Okay.
We want your need to be generally below 50.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
You know why? Because the rent, you guys are over the top.
Yeah. Oh yeah. On the
Your
percentage,
insurance is a freaking madness. And you guys are fortunate you don't pay for a phone and so on, but gas, you guys are going heavy, the little dog and so on. So that's about the amount that you guys should be thinking, okay? And my recommendation is to prorate it at the rate of your salary. So Jacob, very nicely, in the household, you bring 60% of the income.
Okay.
Alisa, bring in 40%. So when we think about the amount that you should potentially be putting into that couple fund to satisfy the needs of the couples, it is around 3,500, okay, or so. And so you would put the remaining amount for that.
That's
Okay?
it. That's very doable.
That's very doable, right?
Yeah.
And that is going to be establishing about your needs, okay? But because you have so many pretty big high-ticket items, transportation and housing, we want to try and push a little bit that income. We'll be speaking about this later on. When it comes to your wants, I saw some expenses here related to, a little bit of restaurants, weed, hair, all of those tierce expenses. Well, I want you guys to really think at timing of what you guys are doing. Because you have credit card debt that is destroying any financial good decisions. I want you in the immediate term to try and be very careful. So as a couple, I think you guys should not spend more than $300 a month on fun.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but I see $200 a month of weed, dude.
You said it.
We're like, yeah, we do that.
Yeah,
300 a month on one date.
Yeah, so how exactly? But right now, I really want you to guys think of as a couple with each of your identity, but kind of working together to get your bad debt out of the way.
100%.
Okay. So what does that leave us? Well, Alisa, the number that you need to put in your mind today that you're living, that you should save, mathematically it makes sense based on your situation, is about $470 per month.
Okay.
That's what you need to save on your future income.
Okay.
Jake, on your side, I am targeting $750
Okay. To be saving each month.
to be saving each month.
Okay.
What I would recommend is, number one, I want for you to try and attack. You already have a little bit of a saving. You have about $4,000 on your checking. So I want you to attack as soon as humanly possible your credit card debt.
Yeah.
Every single cent
Goes there.
goes towards it. Okay? Alisa, you're in a different situation. Because while you still have credit card, you have almost zero on your checking and saving account. So I need you, at least for the next 2 months, 2 to 3 months, to build a little bit of a buffer on those accounts. Okay? Try to reach about $3,000 worth of savings. Okay? And then attack right away as well the credit card debt. When it comes to how long it's going to take you, looking at your current income is about 5 months. So about 3 months of building your emergency a little bit on your checking and saving account, and about 5 months to tackle your credit card debt as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So your outlook is pretty fast on yourself. You're out in about 8 months and starting to rock and roll. Jake, you are more than that, of course.
Okay.
I want you to actually, instead, of targeting your credit card debt, I want you to target your freaking card debt. Because it's at 27.5%. Sorry about that. And this is awful. Because we want to tackle this pretty fast. I don't know if we want to refinance. Your credit scores is kind of shot right now. Let's not hurt that up. But instead, let's put every cent towards that car loan.
Towards the car first, or
The car.
rather than the credit cards first.
Rather than the credit cards.
Yeah, because higher interest rate on it.
I rather you, that's going to be controversial, keep minimum payments on your credit cards and put every cent towards paying that car as soon as possible. I'm going to give you the challenge, actually, that you can save even more than $750.
Okay.
I want you in the next 6 months to have your car paid.
I would love that.
Paid.
Yeah.
Done. Because on top of that, you're buying a BMW with high mileage, and that generally, in terms of maintenance, is a pain in the ass.
But honestly, my goal is in 6 months to get a different car.
Yeah.
To trade it in and try
Yeah.
to...
Get that shit out
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be able to build equity. Why am I not telling you to do it right now? It's because you don't have the equity to buy something on the side.
Yeah.
So as we think about building your credits, Stellarfi is a company that looks at some of your monthly expenses, such as Netflix, Spotify, or even your utilities, and reports those payments to credit bureaus. Okay? And that allows you to really naturally, without having to rely on credit card, pretty much build credit. I have a link in the description if you guys want to investigate on that. This could be a nice and simple way to push up your credit pretty fast without having to rely on banks.
I like that.
So outside of looking at some of those recommendations, I want you guys to please, both of you, open a Roth IRA, okay? And put, even if it's $50 a month, little by little, as you think about your professional career, okay? You want, this is a very important component, every year to what is called max out your Roth IRA,
Okay.
okay? And that's about $7,000 of savings. And it has a massive impact on your future as you're going to continue to evolve in your profession. Okay? This is very important. I wish I knew when I was in my 20s because the impact that you have is so significant. Okay? For example, if you start at today versus at 30 years old and you put $100 per month on your retirement fund, okay? If you start today, you would have $950,000+ by the time you retire. If you start at 30 years old, only 7 years from now, you would only have 450.
Whoa, I see what you're saying. It's a it's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
Look at this. 7 years. 7 years. Either you take the 950 or you take the 450. It's all about the time to start. And you guys are super young in your 20s. That is what in finance we call the golden years. Because the little impact that you're making today is going to have so much impact over years as compound interest.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay? Hopefully that clicks for you guys.
That did,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, wow.
Okay. Next thing that I want is absolutely for no more reason in your lifetime should you rely on credit card debt. Okay? When you think about the type of debt that it is financial death. No investment in the world, except very, very risky ones, is going to provide you with returns higher than what you're paying for credit card debt.
So how do you recommend making, like, for me, like I when I invest in like the camera gear, what do you recommend? Just saving it up, not even doing credit?
I wouldn't do credit card at all.
Just save it up to get it.
Yes. Yeah. And that is a similar concept as we have in France and in Europe. For some reason, the United States has, and I'm generalizing here, but the United States has this reliance on credit. No, that's not how the world act, although we are evolving, because France is always, falling behind the US. We're catching up to the US all the time. But you would not see furniture financing in France. People would laugh at you.
Really?
You wouldn't. No. Damn. No.
And so right now, how like basically any like online website I go on to buy something over like $50, I can finance it. That wouldn't be in France.
This is no. Of course, the option exists now. The option exists, but people would laugh at you. It's not in the culture. We save until you have money to buy. If you don't have the money, you don't buy.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
And generally, all those credit offers are incentives at first, but then at the back, they slap you like no tomorrow. So you have to be aware of that slap at the back if you're not doing the things right. If you do things right, These could potentially be advantages. There are credit cards, like the one I have, that gives me 6% back on groceries. It's hundreds of dollars every year. There is one that gives me advantages for flight and so on, but you guys are not yet there. Just set yourself right, pay your bills, no longer take some form of freaking stupid credit card debt at all. Build your credit by maintaining a balance on your credit card that is less than 30% of the credit limit. So if your credit card is $1,000, when the statement comes, your balance should be less than $300, and you pay it every month in full. Every month in full on all of your bills. Do auto pay. Okay? Then no negotiable on this. If you cannot pay for it today, you don't buy it. One of the other components that I want you guys to know is little by little, increase your learning as to how you make money work for you.
Okay.
Because what you will find right now in your 20s is that your next couple years are generally not the time when it is time for you to make money.
Okay.
No. What it is in the 20s is the time for you to explore your passion. Set the right foundations with good credit, no stupid debt, good behavior around money, and knowledge. So that by the time you increase towards your 30s, you can now make money work for you. And I don't want to dive too much into this, but once you earn certain money, you can invest it. Not only just on stock or on like so many forms of investment exist in life that will not, if you play the game right, convert your time to money. Because right now you're thinking, my time is worth this money. But in the future, what you're going to realize is the most precious assets is time. And so you're going to have and want to have money working for you. Okay? I don't want to dive into this area because I think it's too early. Let's satisfy the basics. Let's get you guys set up as a couple in a good relationship around money. And let's make sure that we get this shit debt out of the way ASAP and never again.
Yes,
because at
please.
23, you have no problem recovering from this.
I have two questions for you. So my first question is about the couple fund. So do you guys still just have separate accounts and you have a spreadsheet tracking the money, or did you guys get a bank account and...
We have an Apple Cash account where we contribute. And so generally, you know what? I've given the responsibility to my partner to say, hey, like the cash account, the couple fund is going down, time to fill it up. And personally, I don't look that much because, we know that where our expenses are going. But one person has the couple fund and she pays when we go everywhere in the couple fund. So we have access to the balance all the time. We don't track our expenses on a Excel because we know where we are at. But for you guys are setting up, yes, engage into the concept of tracking so that you know where your money is going as a couple, and just have constant stream of communications around it. It shouldn't be taboo.
Okay. And then my second question was, so you explained the importance of starting the retirement fund as soon as possible. So do you recommend starting it like tomorrow, even though we're still paying off all the debt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to start the behavior.
Okay.
That's the thing. And you open what is called a Roth IRA.
Roth IRA.
And you put $50 every month in it, okay? Ultimately, I want you to max it out every year at $7,000 for the 4 years. So about $600 or so per month.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you guys think now that we've discussed a little bit about those components together?
I feel good. I feel like we're coming up, and I feel like we're in a place where we can, like, we know our goals and we know how to achieve them, and that we can like do that together. And like, just because we are in a little debt doesn't mean we still can't like grow together.
I agree. Okay. What about you, Jacob? Any words around what was mentioned today?
I really liked it. It was a great eye-opening to see it physically in front of you and have it weigh on you. And I love your take on splitting it proportionately. I like that a lot.
Okay. Any final words?
I think that money shouldn't be, like you said, so taboo. Like, I think people are too afraid to talk about it, but that's how we learn, and that's how we can, like you said, make money work for us and put it towards the things that are going to build things for our lives.
Yeah. Like that, it shouldn't be taboo. Like, especially when I was incurring all my debt, it was like a monster under the bed. Like, I didn't want to look. I wasn't going to check, what's the amount at? What's all this at? But it should be every day a physical thing, a spreadsheet that I'm looking at, and I'm very like consciously aware.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll be following up with you guys. I'm going to make sure that you guys are on track, okay? Don't disappoint me, but for the most part, don't disappoint yourself.
Of course.
You guys have the knowledge. You guys have had the chance to grow up in good situations. Just execute and you guys are going to be all right, okay?
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on this episode. Again, a very wide array of story from those brand new couple to the 67 years old that is at the verge of bankruptcy. So we hope and we appreciate your patience as well as we explore all of different stories. Hopefully this one will match with some of you. Until then, we see you next time. À bientôt.